lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Productions. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. See you there.
Do you believe in aliens or UFOs?
I do now. I definitely do now.
I believe in it now because I've seen it and I know what I saw.
As soon as I become aware that there's someone in the room, I'll go into a paralysis and I can't move, I can't shout out, I can't, I'm unable to call for help.
This happened. I'm just skeptical about the abduction part of the story. To that extent, it wasn't like a visceral reality experience. It wasn't like a true memory. And that's what I had trouble with for years and years and years. Certainly, I shared the experience with the rest of the guys, and they might take that as remembering a real experience, but it's not. The encounter is real. I know that.
Alien Strand Podcast.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Beavers from The Theory, and you are listening to Alien Strand Podcast, the dopest UFO alien podcast out there. And if you want to find out about me, just go on YouTube and search UFOs over UFO or The Theory with Mike Beavers. Stay tuned, guys.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Desma, and welcome back. Welcome to today's show. So it's been a little bit since I've put one out and just been real busy with Let's Productions and everything else that we do. But before we get started, I just want to welcome everybody to Alien Strand Podcast. You can catch us on 24, 25. I think we have a new platform out now as well. Catch us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and alienstrand.com. Check us out there. Also, we got a new platform out. It's called Verbal, VURBLE. So if you do have that platform, you can catch Alien Strand right there on that platform and check out all our episodes. Like I said, if you can go back, check out all the past episodes that I've had, and get some information. Get some information on everything that I put out there as far as UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, anything that's the unknown, right? And that's what we hear about here in Alien Strand. We're trying to get all the information out to you guys so you can make a decision for yourself, if it's real, if it's not real, and you just figure it out, we put out a lot of evidence on Facebook, right? I put out a bunch of videos, usually 2-3 per day. I'll throw out a daily funny as well. So check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Alien Strand there on Facebook. Look us up if you haven't seen us there yet. And I've also, I don't know which platform you're on, but I'm just going to announce a few platforms that we're on. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on Spreaker, of course, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, We're on Amazon Music, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Geoson. And there's many more on top of that. But I just decided to throw a few out there just in case you're on those platforms. If you are, well, welcome to today's show, and thank you for listening to Alien Strand. And if you like this episode or any other episodes, just click on that like or follow or a heart there on iHeartRadio, and when a new episode comes out, you'll be notified right away. And you can also find us on our own platform. So we have an Alien Strand app. They're on Google Play. If you have an Android device, it's free. You can download it yourself, and you'll be able to catch all the podcasts and also interact with me as I am live. Anything that has to do with Alien Strand, it'll pop up there as far as the podcasts are concerned. You'll get a notification. Like I said, it's free. Just sign in, and once I go live, you'll see it there. You can interact with me back and forth as I'm doing the show live, right? So, you can actually download that. If you go to alienstrand.com, go to the very bottom of the homepage, and you'll see it on the right side. There's a little Android there, and you can just click on that, and it'll take you right to the Google Play Store. You can download us right there, and it's free. So thank you for that, and thank you for listening to this show and sharing it with your friends. Please share. We're going out all over 7-8 countries already, and it's always growing all the time. Every time I look at my numbers, they just seem to be different countries joining in, and I think they're liking the content that's here, and what I try to do is try to get as much information to all of you as I can, right? So it's just something that I love to do, and it's just it's like almost like a personal love hobby that I have that turned out from starting to a hobby to what it is now. I've grown as if you've been following the podcast from the very beginning, I believe in 2019. Well, you've grown as much as I have as far as the information. So because I'm giving it out as it comes, and speaking of information, so we've been having a lot of UFOs and UAPs or whatever that the government finally decided to admit that, hey, there's something out there, right? Something possibly that we don't know what it is. And I think it came out on July 3rd or something like June 3rd. So it came out on June 3rd. They put it out there, and it was all over the news, of course. You could see it on all the major news stations, about the UAPs that were out there, that what they were calling them. And now they're deciding to just go ahead and say, all right, we know something's out there, right? So because too many people are seeing these things every day. You guys are catching them on video. Thank you for that. You guys are catching photos. Thank you for that as well. Because when you put it out there, I don't care if you put it on Alien Strand or if you put it on Extraterrestrial Strange Happenings group, you put it on any other group out there, that at least the information is getting out, right? And we like to share with everybody. Everything that we put out there, as far as Alien Strand, we put everything out. It's shareable to anybody. So it's not just locked in. We're not a group. We're actually an Alien Strand, we're a podcast business page, right? And so everything you're seeing there is everything that coincides with the unknown. So I throw a lot of historical aspects in there as well. So if you notice that, I'll throw a lot of Egyptian historical aspects, because I believe that history has a lot to do with what we're trying to figure out today as far as a piece of the puzzle, right? So, but getting back to this government thing, right? They finally decided to throw it out there, and they said that they've had a lot of these, sightings from, of course, the government entities that are out there since 2017. The videos have been witnessed by many people out there. As far as the people that work in this industry, and then finally, Congress decided they demanded the Pentagon to produce some kind of report on what the government knows about UAPs, right? Because we're seeing too many of these things. So what the government did was they decided to produce a group called the UAP Task Force, Unclassified Version. So this is what they're going to be putting out, as far as you'll start seeing this more and more as it comes out on the news stations or anything about that, right? You know, and what they're trying to do is just trying to explain to you exactly what they're trying to figure out, what's out there, or what they're seeing, or what they're catching on radar. So when they say a UAP, right? That's unidentified aerial phenomena. That's what they're starting to call it now. To me, a phenomena is more like, you know, a sprite. You know, I don't know if you've seen those. They're like spheres that come out, not spheres, but the long cylinder lines that come out in major skies or different colors. They're like red or green, sometimes blue or purple. And people just kind of see those and they're like, think it's, you know, it's, what is this? They think it's extraterrestrial, right? But actually it's a phenomenon that happens all over the world. We have the aurora lights. That's a phenomenon, right? There's examples of phenomena. It's gravity, you know, or tides that go up. You know, rainbows, that's a phenomenon. Blood moon, that's a phenomenon. And of course, the polar nights. So these are the things that people say it's a phenomenon, right? But when you see an actual craft in the sky or something like that, they're calling it unidentified aerial phenomena. Me personally, I just like to call it as it is, as it was first explained, you know, since the 1940s. A UFO, unidentified flying object, because it's an object. That's exactly what it is. And that's how I see it. And that's how I will always explain it. I usually don't call it aerial phenomenon. When you hear my past podcasts, I'll never say that. It's because I don't see it that way. I see it as something that's intelligent, right? Something's controlling this. What they call phenomenon. I call it a craft. So this is the difference that I see on that terminology. So now they're saying that they have senior officials that are familiar with this report, you know, and despite of having over 120 incidents from the past 20 years, they're starting to actually put these out there. And according to the New York Times, the final report is going to include classified annex of information unsuitable for the public, right? And this is there's going to be their release. So there's a lot of UFO advocates out there, you know, that they say that the U.S. government, of course, is hiding the truth. What have we been saying since the 1940s? Exactly the same thing. I don't think anything has really changed. Just that they're actually admitting, okay, something's out there. We're actually catching this on our radars, and we just can't figure out exactly what it is. So in reality, it's up to you to decide what you think, you know, you should be thinking exactly what it is. And people always think that, you know, the government has a lot to do with this. You know, I think they have maybe possibly a little bit to do with it, but I don't think that they have too much involvement in this, because these crafts, these beings that come, they're on their own free will. There's nothing controlling them but themselves, right?
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
And which is going to bring me to this topic that I'm going to talk about tonight, or today, in your country. So I decided to talk about dimensions because I think that these UFOs or extraterrestrials can go into a different dimension to possibly get closer to us, as human beings, as close as possible without being detected, right? So there's a description of it. It's called interdimensional hypothesis, right? And what it is, it's the UFOs that are related to events that evolved from other realities or dimensions that coexist separately alongside our own. So that's basically saying that these things are just, they can go into these dimensions but still be within our own. An IDH, which what they call it, also holds that UFOs are like a modern manifestation of phenomenon that has occurred throughout recorded human history. So they're trying to tell you that this stuff has been going on for quite some time, and they're trying to figure this out themselves, or ourselves here, right? So in prior ages, they're described to like mythical or supernatural creatures because they are in this different dimension. Paranormal researcher Brad Stager wrote, "We are dealing with a multi-dimensional paraphysical phenomena that is largely indigenous to our planet Earth. Ufologists John Ankerberg and John Weldon advocate that the IDH fits the explanation of a UFO as a spiritualistic phenomenon." So they're pretty much saying that this craft can pretty much jump into that dimension to where we're thinking it's possibly spiritual, in a sense, like how we see it. Like a UFO that disappeared from radar sight, as it's leaving our dimension, it materializes and dematerializes, right? UFOs are not crafts, but devices that travel between realities. Do you kind of see it that way? I've seen it, and I think about it in this sense sometimes. That it can actually travel between these realities. How it manifests. Dematerializes. Within an instant, comes in and out of radar. What does that? So now we come to the aliens, extraterrestrials, dimensions, how and why. I call these, me personally, part energy velocity. So if you want to say it's PEV, which they have the capability to go below our dimension of physicality, but not past the final dimension of death. And then there's the full energy velocity. This is past death, which is like an aura of electromagnetism, which is the soul's ghost or final destination, right? So in other words, what I'm trying to say here is that they can go beyond that realm of dimension to where it's close to what we have here, humans on Earth, call death, or we call souls, or we call ghosts, which have hit that other last final dimension. In other words, all physical and living material has energy of some charge of electrons, right? So your body has some kind of charge of electrons. It fires up just like your brain. It keeps your heart pumping. It keeps your blood flowing, right? So without your brain, without pumping your heart, you wouldn't be able to live, right? They know that there's electrons in your brain that fire up. Now, there's metering devices for this as well. Over there in Los Alamos, they have a science museum there. I don't know if anybody's ever been up there, but they have a machine there where you can put both hands on it, and it gives you how much electrons or electricity is actually flowing through your body. There's a meter that goes all the way across. How do I know? Because I was there. I tried this. Mine shot all the way across. So, that's all it's saying is that any living thing has this energy. Why do you think these aliens do this? Possibly, I believe, to be undetectable. So they can travel through walls, doors, ceilings for an abduction. You ever heard any of my past podcasts when I talk about these older stories where they're saying that these extraterrestrials come, they see them outside, and they go through a door. Now break it down, they go through a door. They go through the ceiling when they pull you up, or they come down. Can this be interdimensional in a sense, but still living within our reality of dimension, right? It's kind of confusing in a sense, but if you really think about it, it kind of makes sense that way. And why do you think they do this as well? Me personally, I think because the extraterrestrials aren't able to breathe in our atmosphere very well. Because of the conditions that we have here in our atmosphere, right? To us, it's great. We can breathe. It's perfect. To them, they need large amounts of humidity in order to sustain themselves, breathe, or not dry out, right? And I've talked about this in the past of that's the kind of conditions that are inside of these crafts when abductees get abducted, and they remember that the feeling of hard to breathe, the humidity level was so high that it made it almost impossible to breathe for them. So if you really think about it, it's going to be the opposite effect if these extraterrestrials are on the ground physically. So they have to use this kind of ability or technology to be able to abduct. It kind of explains a lot, right? So if you really think about it, a lot of these visuals that they've had, photographs, very rare on video, but there is a few video out there of these extraterrestrials, or small, or grays, what you want to call them. They're usually on the coastline, right? So if you live on a coastline like I do, the humidity levels are way higher. So that's why you're probably going to see them more in a physical sense than in a dimensional sense. And I think that makes a little more sense of why we don't see these extraterrestrials walking around amongst us, just everywhere. When we experience paranormal activity, is it paranormal? Or can it be an alien cloaked in a different dimension? I've had my past guests that have come on live and have told their stories of everything that's happened to them, right? I had Shauna Gilmer, Crystal, I had Dee, I had Amanda, Lisa O'Hara. She wrote a book about it. They all experienced this kind of phenomenon, right? So sometimes what we think as a ghost could possibly be an extraterrestrial. You know, these people felt like an illusion mixed with reality, in a sense. And they couldn't wrap themselves around it, of what was happening, or what was happening on a daily thing or a weekly thing, right? Until they figured it out. And it happened slowly. It didn't happen overnight. And if you really think about it, their agenda is to use you. That's it. For egg extraction, sperm extraction, so they can populate and blend in. Most of these extraterrestrials, can be narcissistic. And that's why they control the narrative, just like Lisa O'Hara said. She gave many explanations on how they do this when they land. I passed stories of children seeing these things, and they tell them about the earth and, how we're destroying it, and then they change things around on them. So it's kind of confusing in a sense. What do you think, if this gray is a good gray or a bad gray? It almost has like a small demonic behavior sense. But not all of these have that same narrative, right? So, we've heard a lot of stories on these different extraterrestrials from different times. From the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. Some are human-like. They're not all going to be this big round head, big eyes, long fingers. But I believe that will be about 80% of what these abductions and these people are seeing. The other 20% is going to be the human-like extraterrestrials. So we can't always see them as a little green man, big heads, black eyes. They're not all going to look like that. They're going to look normal, just like you and I. Most of them are going to have, as far as this other 20%, they're going to have, a tall, slender shape, blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin. They will have this look to them. But it's distinct, kind of different looking. They say it's Nordic. So you have to remember that this can be very confusing as far as this dimensional thing. And this is why I believe that we confuse a ghost for an extraterrestrial, or vice versa, right? I'm not saying ghosts don't exist or spiritual beings don't exist. I believe they do as well. But does this extraterrestrial have the technology to manifest itself, or use its own natural ability to cloak or move freely and undetected, right? And this is by its own physical biochemistry or its build, right? So we don't know exactly what they have, their full capabilities are, these different kind. I'm sure there's different kind of grays as well. Some might be more advanced than others. Maybe some can do this, maybe not all. Just like us, we're different. We're all human, yes. But just like we have mediums, and then we have, people that can do special things sometimes. And I think that's just all part of your mind, the brain, your inner self. And they're possibly like this too, but millions of years in advancement, right? In a sense. I mean, they came from somewhere. They have this technology to do this. They're able to jump into different dimensions in an instant. We can barely get an airplane from Texas to California within 4 hours, right? So kind of think about that just for a minute. We're still way back here. And these are the things that I wanted to talk about. These are the things I wanted to, to get out so you guys can have, something else that you can actually explain to people. If you believe it this way, you don't have to. This is strictly up to you. And then have you ever thought, are they able to communicate with deceased souls without crossing that void? Right? Now, are they that close? And these are answers that we probably won't get until we make proper contact as an open source, meaning civilian natured. No governments, no nothing involved, just strictly straight contact. And I believe then we will find out exactly what's going on with these extraterrestrials, what their agenda really is on that species, because I believe there's 18 to 20 different kind of species as far as the gray. But I believe at that time we'll be able to figure out a little bit more and have a little bit more answers to what exactly is going on. But until then, we just have to wait and put these pieces of the puzzle together. All together here. That's what I do here with Alien Strand. So I'm glad I was able to get this story out to you guys today, or this information out to you. So that way you'll have something to think about, something you can go and look for yourself. Look for these sources as well. And just think about what this could possibly be, or what can they possibly do as far as jumping into these different dimensions. Nobody really talks about it as much, because they believe that these things are just a physical entity and that's it, but there's just too much evidence out there of how these things cloak themselves, some people can see them, some people can't. How is something that's physically capable to walk through a door or walk through a wall and not get harmed or bump into anything? Or how is that possible? It kind of makes you think that their body or whatever they're using has to go into some different kind of realm in order to do that. That's the only way. Because really, in reality, with our physics, with gravity, with everything that we have here, it's physically impossible to walk through a wall without bumping into it, really, right? That's just the reality of it. Just think about that for a little bit, and, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast today. It was a little short, but I wanted to make sure that this information gets out as well. So be looking out for my book that'll be coming out. Be putting it all together for you guys. And it's going to have a lot of this information as well. It's going to be like a go-to kind of thing. Remember, you can always send us an email if you have any information or you want to come on the show. Just go to Alien Strand Podcast on gmail.com. That's where we're at. You catch us on our telephone number, 361-245-8000. You can catch us there too. Or just go straight to the Facebook website there and you'll see a call now. You could just click that, and it goes directly to my cell phone. And if you guys just want to get on the show, if you got some stories, you had something happen to you, call me. Send me an email. We'll talk about it, and then we'll get you set up on the show. Remember, you can catch us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, alienstrand.com. And now the new Verbal, VURBLE. So you have a chance, go check that out there if you want to get on that platform. We have plenty of others, you can go to as well. Whatever you're listening to us on, we really appreciate you. Really appreciate everything that you guys do as well. When y'all send me information on Facebook as well. I post a lot on Instagram for Alien Strand, so you want to check us out there. You can send me messages to there as well. We're all linked together. Don't forget to download the Alien Strand app. Free. They're on Google Play. If you have a chance, download it. That way, next time you catch us live, you can interact with me while I'm doing the show. So we have some more shows possibly in the future. It's just taking a little bit more time, but I will get some more content out for you guys. Please go back and check out all my other podcasts with my other guests. Work your way backwards. The very first 10 are a little rough. The sound quality was kind of weird, but if you work yourself backwards from 65 today and go backwards, and nothing's in any order, you can catch all that good content that's out there. Share. Tell your friends. Just spread the word. Alien Strand is out there, and this is what we do for you. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
Hi, this is Kelly Green with Realty Executives, Coastal Bend in Corpus Christi, Texas. And you're listening to the Alien Strand podcast with Donald Ledesma. Buying or selling, visit me at kellygreenrealtor.com or visit me on my Facebook page, Kelly Green Realtor. See you there.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Productions. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. See you there.
Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy, a part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.